What is going on, guys and girls? It is Ghost Robo, and Next Gen is finally here today, taking the form of, yes, you guessed it, the Microsoft Xbox One. Their foray into the new era of gaming is all within this large green box, and we're about to unbox it, find out what's inside, and see how it all works. It's been really incredible to finally have Next Gen be here. It's been super exciting to play with the PlayStation 4, and it's so cool that 1 week later, we get this guy. I don't think that's happened since the PlayStation 3 and the original Wii, that two consoles have launched so close to each other, and I find this time to be even more exciting just because the wait has been so long, and these are two huge juggernauts just duking it out. We're going to set this guy down and open it up. I'm going to get right to the good stuff, which is the console itself. I know that is what most people want to see. Of course, you have your pamphlets and brochures and a 14-day Xbox Live trial to get you going with your multiplayer gameplay. But we're going to take out the top layer of all the accessories and plugs and whatnot and show you guys the main attraction of this entire package, which is the Xbox One console itself. Now, the Xbox One is a very industrially designed, large box. It looks futuristic in the sense that it's big, black, and very boxy. There goes the box as well. But now, we will unveil the console. This is the main attraction and what all of us have been waiting so long to see. I'll lift it up for you guys, and you can see we've got half of it glossy and half of it more in a matte plastic style. It is very, very large. It's deep. That's the surprising thing. This thing is not only large in terms of its length, but it is a very deep system. You can see that it has a lot of depth to it, and I have a 360 here to compare it with this, which I'll grab right now, and you can see that if we look at these, the Xbox One is significantly longer, and I believe significantly deeper. If I can stand them both vertically here, you'll notice that, yes, it is much taller. Can't even see me. It is so freaking tall. So enough Xbox 360 talk. Let's dive into what the Xbox One has. On the front of the Xbox One, you'll see the disc slot over here, the Xbox logo here, which also functions as a touch-sensitive power button. You have a touch-sensitive disc eject button in the center. If we spin it around, you've got another USB slot, it looks like here, which I wasn't even aware of. And then on the back, the big heavy guy, turn it all the way around for you. There's HDMI in, HDMI out, power slot on this far side, two USB ports, an SPDIF port, an Ethernet port, an IR port, and interestingly enough, you're able to plug your cable box or TV receiver into this guy and run television through it so that you can take sort of control over the TV and do picture-in-picture and switching and all that good stuff that the Xbox One has to offer. I'm pretty impressed with how the console looks in person. While it is large and heavy, I think this will look very nice in your entertainment center. It looks better in person than I was hoping for and expecting. It is really big, but I think it still will look pretty darn nice in your entertainment center. The two-toned sort of styling of it does come across pretty well. I like the little bit of grading on the top. It also makes a good instrument. Let's set this right here for now and dive into the next most important part of this thing, which is, for me at least, the controller. I think that Microsoft has designed a really nice controller here. It's smaller than the Xbox 360 controller, and again, I brought one for comparison, but the triggers feel oh so nice. The Xbox One controller basically is just a cousin of the Xbox 360 controller. If you look at them right off the bat, you can tell they're very similar. This one being a little bit smaller, but with improved features. So not only do you have better buttons and a better D-pad, but you have grippier sticks. Now the sticks are a little bit smaller, which is sort of strange. I have small hands, and I still feel like they're small, but they've reduced the dead zone, and the sticks are still very, very good. On the top and back, you have the bumpers, which are a little bit chunkier now, and the triggers, which are definitely more form-fitting and feel great. They have a little bit of, it's not force feedback, but some sort of feedback on the triggers that is evident in things like Forza 5, a little bit of rumble action inside of there, and they just feel perfect. They fit your fingers really well. I could see some of the bigger hands having a little bit of an issue just because the triggers, they are more form-fitting, and they are more, I guess, top-heavy towards the bumpers, and so the gap between them seems to be not very great. Now, on the front end of the controller, you do have your clickable guide button up here that takes on a silver tone, and you have your basically options and menu button. I believe, I don't know what they're calling them, but there's one with 3 lines and one with 2 squares. So it's start and select to me, it's share and options to PlayStation 4, and menu and something to the Xbox One. Now, there is no charge cable built into the system. because you have a battery pack. It's a bigger battery pack than the Xbox 360 controller, as you can see, but it allows for a more flush back to the controller. You'll still need 2 AA's though to get this guy going. I've brought a PlayStation 4 controller in for comparison. As you can see, the DualShock 4 is eerily similar to the Xbox One. They did a lot to make it kind of more along the lines of the Xbox 360, now the Xbox One controller, but there are still differences. This guy has offset sticks, this guy has bigger sticks, this guy has, I feel, a little bit better triggers. While the DualShock 4 has drastically improved the triggers from the DualShock 3, I think I still prefer the Xbox One. Now, the sticks are smaller on this guy, like I mentioned, and they are a little bit bigger here. I really love the sticks on the DualShock 4. I think they have perfect grip and perfect feel, and while these guys have great grip, it's going to take some hours to see how those smaller sticks really feel in my hands. And keep in mind, I do have smaller hands, so I think people with normal and or bigger hands might be like, holy crap, I'm holding baby sticks. Of course, the buttons feel great. The D-pad is much improved. Remember when they had that spinny thing? That was just, I don't know. I never thought the Xbox 360 controller had a good D-pad, and here it is much, much better. So you can't really go wrong with either controller. I think they might have some slight advantages and disadvantages over each other, but the Xbox One definitely has the triggers to win the game. Now, possibly the most divisive part of the Xbox One is the Kinect 2.0. They bumped the price to $500, making it $100 more than their competition, and part of the reason is because of this guy here. It is a much more efficient Kinect that has much better recognition of both vocal commands and fingers, heartbeats, all that sort of stuff. I've heard nothing but good things about the Kinect. Whether you use it in your gameplay or not is totally up to you, but from a system interface control level, I think it does have some benefit. The fact that you can seamlessly and quickly go through the menus, call out commands, that seems pretty cool. So as we take off the little cellophane sticky stuff here, you'll notice that it has a much more rectangular, and again, industrial design than the Kinect 1. There's a lot more just flat plastic as opposed to glossy, curved plastic, I guess. But it looks like it would just fit better amongst Blu-ray players or other electronic equipment, and it definitely matches the Xbox One really well. Now, the other stuff inside this box is the cables, and interestingly enough, Microsoft has decided to throw a headset in here. Now, they weren't initially planning on doing that, if I can find it here, but they decided to go with one. Sony included a headset, and so Microsoft said, hey, we will as well, and it's very reminiscent of the Xbox 360 headset over-ear with a mic that flips in and out. Of course, your connector, which I will show you guys, it's quite large, that plugs into the bottom of the controller here. Bam, that's a pretty freaking sizable connector if you ask me. It has your mute and volume up and down buttons on there, but it's a pretty chunky connector, and if we plug this in as the first accessory of our Xbox One controller, it adds substantial volume to this guy, which is okay because it's a small controller in general. It's thinner than the DualShock 4, thinner than even the Xbox 360 controller, and while it does have a flat face, it feels pretty darn awesome. Last but not least, in this box we have a huge power brick. The power brick is interesting because the PlayStation 4 doesn't have one, but here you do have another rectangle to match your other two rectangles connect and the system itself, which is no big deal. Like, you set it up once, and I don't think anyone cares after that. You can complain that maybe it's not as efficient as with power, or not as, you know, nicely designed inside, but who cares? It's a freaking power cable. There is the actual wall connector, and then at the very bottom of the pack, we have our HDMI cord. Thank God these systems include HDMI cords. I mean, they have to because that's the only port that they have, but hey, they really... It's nice to finally be in a fully complete HD era. Now we're going to boot the thing up and see how it sounds. Let me plug it in, and we will check that out. Alright, so we have the console totally plugged in. Power is ready. Here we go. Let's see how it sounds. Pretty quiet. This is a loud, echoey room, and I hear virtually nothing. There's definitely a hum. There's a little hum. It is nowhere near as loud as the original Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3, which is a great thing. To have a quieter console that is way more powerful, that's 2 thumbs up for me. Yeah, this thing is really quiet. It's very, very quiet. I can barely hear it. There's nearly no audible noise, and I like the fact that this little Xbox logo lights up so darn pretty. That's really impressive. I'm really... In spite of this thing being huge and heavy, it's nice that it is so dang silent. These are the Xbox One game cases. Are very cool. Probably Goes up with 3DS and PlayStation Vita as some of my favorite boxes of all time. I love the slim form factor. I think it looks really great. I think it gives a more professional feel as well. I love that they took out the bar at the top and just made the Xbox One logo embossed and very small. You get much more of the full picture kind of taking up 90% of the real estate instead of about 80% here. So while they are very similar, it's a darker green, it's thinner, it's smaller. So here is the full ensemble Xbox One Kinect controller and headset. I've played with the controller back at E3, played some Battlefield 4, and it felt really good. They're definitely targeting the shooter audience with a very trigger-focused controller. It feels very nice in hand. I don't think you can go wrong. If you like the Xbox 360 controller, you are going to love this one. It's a little bit smaller. The system is a little bit bigger, definitely bigger than its younger brother now, the Xbox 360. But I'm so excited to play it, to dive into Dead Rising 3, to dive into Rise, even Power Star Golf, Forza 5, a bunch of pretty cool launch titles that should be really fun to check out, and I hope you guys will check them out, as well as all the system features with me. The next generation of gaming from Microsoft has arrived, and I couldn't be more excited. If you guys are pumped for Xbox One, smash that like button, add your favorites, let me know what you want me to show you. Follow me on Twitter if you want instant updates on what videos are coming and when they're coming at you, twitter.com/GhostRobo. Subscribe to me here on YouTube, and I'll bring you the best Xbox One coverage you could possibly want. All the games, all the information, best of, top 5, what you need to know if you are going to be purchasing an Xbox One, and also help you decide which console is right for you. So stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's here. Both consoles are here. Now it's time to play them and enjoy. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the Xbox One, and also if you're planning on getting an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. Curious to see which way you guys lean on that one. Until next time, everybody, have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching again. Let's go enjoy next gen and drink some hot chocolate, because until next time, guys and girls, we will see you all later.